Alright, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're taking a really close look at a deeply moving piece of history and literature. It's a story by Alphonse Daudet called The Last Lesson. Now, this is set right in the middle of the Franco-Prussian War back in 1870 and 1871. France has just been defeated by Prussia, and the French districts of Alsace and Lorraine, they've suddenly been handed over to Prussian control. But honestly, we aren't just looking at military history today. We're going to analyze the incredibly profound, intimate connection between language, culture, and your own personal freedom. So, I want you to start by just asking yourself this. What if the language you're speaking right now, the one you're thinking in, was suddenly outlawed tomorrow? Just imagine a sudden, forced change to your very identity. It's kind of unthinkable for us, right? But that is exactly what the characters in our source material are facing. This one historical reality bridges our modern lives right back to the people of Alsace and Lorraine. They literally woke up to find that the very words they used to think, speak, and connect with each other were completely forbidden. Section 1. Taking education for granted. You know, before a massive shift happens in any community, life usually feels totally ordinary. And that's where we meet our main subject, a young student named Franz. And let me tell you, Franz absolutely dreads going to school on this particular bright morning. He's terrified of a grammar quiz on participles, and he's deeply tempted to just skip the whole thing. The source text really nails that universal feeling we've all had of just putting off learning. I mean, the birds chirping at the edge of the woods, the Prussian soldiers drilling out in the open field, all of that seems way more appealing than his heavy, annoying grammar books. How often have we felt the exact same way about our own daily obligations? But to his credit, Franz resists the temptation and hurries off to school. Section 2. A sudden shocking order. On his way there, Franz passes a big crowd gathered at the town hall bulletin board. And for the past 2 years, that board has been the source of literally all the bad news for the town. Completely unaware that his world is about to flip upside down, he rushes to class, totally expecting the usual hustle and bustle. Normally, you'd hear desks slamming, lessons being repeated super loud in unison, and the teacher's heavy iron ruler rapping on the table. In fact, Franz kind of banked on all that chaotic emotion so he could sneak into his seat unseen. But today, the reality is entirely different. It is eerily solemn. It's as quiet as a Sunday morning. And peering through the window, he sees his classmates already sitting quietly in their places. So, blushing and absolutely terrified, Franz opens the door. But instead of getting a harsh scolding, his teacher, M. Hamel, actually greets him like a gentle mentor. He just kindly tells Franz to quickly go to his seat. So why this sudden shift from strict disciplinarian to patient teacher? Well, as M. Hamel soon announces in this very grave, gentle tone, an order has come down from Berlin. From tomorrow onward, only German will be taught in the schools of Alsace and Lorraine. A new master arrives the very next day. This is their absolute last French lesson. Section 3. The teacher's heartbreaking shift. Those words from M. Hamel hit Franz like a literal thunderclap. Suddenly, that crowd around the bulletin board makes complete sense, and the realization just washes over him. He barely even knows how to write in his native tongue, and now he has to stop learning it entirely. We immediately see the visual weight of this final day resting on M. Hamel. Remember, this is a man who has run this specific classroom for 40 years. He's wearing his beautiful green coat, his frilled shirt, and his little black embroidered silk cap. These are garments he reserves exclusively for inspections and special honors. And he is not alone in the room, either. Sitting quietly in the back are the village elders. They're holding these worn-out primers on their knees, silently mourning a country that just isn't theirs anymore, and thanking the master for his decades of faithful service. The truly crucial point here is this shared realization of profound regret. When Franz gets all mixed up trying to recite his participle rule, Hamel doesn't yell at him. Instead, he points out a really painful truth. They actually all shared the blame for putting off their education. The parents, they weren't anxious enough for their kids to learn. They preferred sending them to work on farms or in the mills for a little extra money. And Hamel admits his own guilt, too. He notes he often sent students out to water his flowers or just gave them holidays when he wanted to go fishing. And students like Franz, they always assumed they had plenty of time to learn tomorrow. But now, tomorrow is gone.